Big changes are coming to travel in 2025, and if you're not prepared, you could be in for some serious disruptions. From updated ID requirements in the US to new international travel regulations, these changes will affect every passenger. Whether you're flying domestically or heading abroad, staying informed is the key to avoiding delays, missed flights, and unnecessary headaches. In this video, we're breaking down the 10 most important travel updates for 2025, including the mandatory Real ID rule, biometric boarding, and new visa requirements. If you're planning to fly next year, this is information you don't want to miss. So let's dive in. The 10th Real ID enforcement begins May 7th, 2025. For years, the Real ID enforcement date has been delayed, but it's finally happening. Starting May 7th, 2025, U.S. travelers aged 18 and older will need a Real ID-compliant driver's license or another acceptable form of identification, such as a passport or military ID, to board domestic flights. So, what exactly is a Real ID? It's a federally approved driver's license or state-issued ID card that meets stricter security standards. You can identify it by a star in the upper corner of the card. If your current license doesn't have that star, it's not Real ID compliant. To get a Real ID, you'll need to visit your state's DMV with specific documents, such as proof of identity, social security number, and 2 proofs of residency. Processing times may vary, and as the deadline approaches, DMVs are expected to get busier. If you haven't upgraded your ID yet, now's the time to do it to avoid last-minute chaos. 9. Enhanced security screening for international travelers. If you're traveling internationally in 2025, expect additional security screenings at airports. U.S. Customs and Border Protection is expanding its biometric entry and exit program, which means more travelers will undergo facial recognition scans when arriving or departing the country. The goal is to streamline the immigration process and enhance security, but privacy concerns remain. Some passengers worry about how their biometric data is stored and used. If you're not comfortable with facial recognition, you can opt out, but that may mean additional manual screening. Additionally, travelers to the U.S. from certain countries may face stricter entry requirements, such as expanded background checks and increased scrutiny of travel history. If you're planning an international trip, stay up to date on these changes and ensure you have all required documents before departure. 8. Passport validity, rules and processing delays. A common mistake travelers make is not checking their passport's expiration date. Many countries require at least 6 months of validity beyond your planned departure date. This means if your passport expires in less than 6 months from your travel date, you could be denied entry. In 2025, passport processing times are also expected to remain high due to a surge in applications. The State Department recommends renewing your passport at least 6 months in advance to avoid delays. If you're planning international travel next year, check your passport now and renew it if needed. 7. ETIAS becomes mandatory for U.S. travelers to Europe. If you're a U.S. citizen planning a trip to Europe in 2025, you'll need to apply for an ETIAS, European Travel Information and Authorization System, before departure. This new requirement, similar to the U.S. ESTA program, is not a visa, but an electronic travel authorization for travelers from visa-exempt countries. The application is simple, costs about €7, and is valid for 3 years. However, failing to get ETIAS approval before your flight could result in being denied boarding. To avoid travel disruptions, apply for ETIAS at least a few days before your trip. Once approved, your authorization is electronically linked to your passport, allowing smooth entry into the 30 European countries that require it. 6. New health and safety protocols. Health and safety measures introduced during the pandemic have evolved, and in 2025, some countries are expected to implement digital health declarations as a standard requirement. This means that before arriving in certain destinations, travelers may need to complete an online health form, which could include vaccine records, recent travel history, and proof of health insurance. Some countries may even require proof of vaccination for illnesses such as yellow fever or polio, depending on your travel history. If you're flying internationally, check entry requirements for your destination to ensure you comply with any new health declarations. Many airlines may also require these forms to be completed before check-in. 5. Digital and biometric boarding becomes the norm. Boarding passes are going digital, and many airlines are replacing traditional paper tickets with facial recognition boarding. Major airports like LAX, JFK, and Miami International are expanding biometric boarding programs, allowing passengers to board their flights with just a facial scan. The process is designed to be faster and more secure, eliminating the need for physical boarding passes. However, some travelers remain skeptical about data security and privacy. If you prefer traditional boarding methods, check whether your airline offers an opt-out option. 4. Increased use of sustainable aviation fuel, SAF. To combat climate change, airlines are being pushed to adopt sustainable aviation fuel, SAF, as part of their operations. The EU, in particular, is mandating that airlines use a minimum percentage of SAF by 2025. This transition is great for the environment, but it may come with a cost: higher ticket prices. While experts suggest the increase will be minor, travelers should be prepared for slight fare hikes as airlines adjust to new fuel requirements. If you're budget-conscious, booking flights early and taking advantage of airline promotions could help offset potential price increases. Third, ban on single-use plastics on flights. Many airlines are phasing out single-use plastics in 2025, following regulations already implemented in the EU. Expect to see biodegradable cutlery, paper straws, and reusable containers replacing traditional plastic options. While this is a positive move for sustainability, it may mean fewer complementary items on board. Some airlines could also start charging for items like bottled water. Bringing your own reusable bottle and snacks could be a smart move to stay prepared. Second, stricter visa and immigration rules for some destinations. Visa requirements are changing in several countries, with stricter policies for travelers from high-risk regions. In 2025, some countries will introduce more rigorous background checks, higher visa fees, and additional documentation requirements. For example, India, China, and Brazil are expected to implement tougher visa rules, including financial proof and in-person interviews for certain travelers. If you're visiting a country with changing visa policies, check their official government website months before your trip to avoid unexpected hurdles. 1. Real ID deadline reminder. Yes, we're bringing this up again because it's that important. The May 7th, 2025 deadline is real this time, and if you don't have a real ID or an alternative form of ID, you won't be able to board a domestic flight in the US. The closer we get to the deadline, the busier DMVs will become. If you wait until the last minute, you might not get an appointment in time. Take action now. Check if your ID is compliant, and if not, start the application process immediately. Travel in 2025 is evolving, and being prepared is the best way to ensure stress-free trips. Whether it's getting your real ID, applying for ETIAS before heading to Europe, or adjusting to new security measures, these changes will impact everyone. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button and share it with your fellow travelers. And don't forget to subscribe for more travel updates, tips, and essential guides. Safe travels, and we'll see you in the next video.